Okay, so there's formula of a circle. The PQ format, please don't talk now, is the format that you're used to. G and F is exactly the same thing, but just with funny letters, right? From last year, what can you tell me about the circle that I've given you as an example there? Can anyone remember anything? What information do you have? Yes.
Radii 4.
Yes. So the radius is equal to 4, so that's nice and straightforward. And what else? Center. Where's the center? Well, let's start with x coordinate first. You can't possibly think. Yes. And y coordinate? Negative 3. This one is backwards for both of them. It's the only exception. It's the only one of the ones you've dealt with. If you look at your formula, you've got minus g and you've got minus f. That tells you that they're backwards. In other words, if we had the circle, and it was 16 is equal to x squared plus y squared, that would be a circle going around the origin, right? So it would go around 0, 0, it'd go around the origin, and it would have a radius of 4. Notice it would touch this coordinate over here at 4. It would be over there, it would be at 4. Down here it would be at negative 4. And over there it would be at negative 4 because the radius would be 4 throughout. So its center would be 0, 0. And if you look at what you've got there, it's the same as saying as x plus 0 squared, y plus 0 squared, right? So this one over here gives you the center and it gives you the translation. So if you have a look at what it is compared to the original one, you have a translation. The thing has moved 4 right and 3 down, okay? Both of them are backwards. So this one means 4 right, and this one means 3 down. So exactly the same as every other graph you have ever done, but the fact that there are minus signs for both the horizontal and the vertical movement means that they are both backwards, okay? Which means the center itself is the negative version of whatever those numbers are. So you can see that if I have x minus 4, then the center is going to be at 4 because obviously you've gone 4 right. And if I have y plus 3, that's y minus minus 3. So the center is going to be at minus 3. It's going to be 3 down, right? So that's relatively straightforward. And that is the first type of circle equation. You want your circle equation in this format. This is far and away the easiest one to use, generally speaking. There is a second format. So this is type 1. And unfortunately, there is type 2. Now, this is not super hard. It just really, really isn't. But you're going to have to study it and get it in your brain. Otherwise, you can't do this. Type 2 looks as follows. So I'm going to show you where it comes from. You never have to do this. Well, actually, that's a lie. You might have to do this, but you probably won't. You probably won't have any really good reason to multiply out, but it's certainly not going to be a difficult thing to do if you do, right? So there is the format that we had before. If you multiply this out, you're going to get the other format. So this is x minus g times by x minus g plus y minus f times by y minus f. I'm just going to prove to you where the other format comes from, right? So this is type 2. This is the format they usually give you. So that's going to be x squared minus 2gx plus g squared. And then I'm going to have y squared minus 2fy plus f squared. Then what they do is they change the grouping. They make that equal to 0. They put the x squared next to the y squared. Then we have the minus 2gx next to the minus 2fy. And then the 3 constant terms go together. So there's g squared plus f squared. And remember, there was an r squared, so I will have had to have brought that across. These things over here are constants. If you think about it, if you had x minus 3 here, and you had y minus 4 there, this number over there, this one over here would be 9, right? That'd be 9. This one would be 16. They're constants, right? So we group all the constants together, and we have all the variables separately. This thing over here is called c. So g squared plus f squared minus r squared is called c, which stands for constant term. So the format you usually get these in is this: x squared plus y squared minus 2gx minus 2fy plus c. So they give you this pink equation, which is, first of all, you must recognize that it's a circle. So as soon as you see the x squared plus y squared, you know that this is a circle graph over there. Okay? Now, this thing over here is c. So I'm going to start with that. This minus 40 is the constant term that they added on the end. Please note that it's solved for 0. If it's not solved for 0, you need to solve for 0 before you start, right? Because that will make a big difference. It will change that value of c. So that's c, and c is minus 40. So we called this thing over here c. So if you think about it, you have got c is equal to g squared plus f squared minus r squared. Oh, I wrote that already over there. Let me get rid of it. If you solve for r, so if I take this thing over here, because we call that c, and I solve for r, then I'm going to have r squared on this side, and on this side I'm going to have g squared plus f squared minus c. Do you agree? Do you notice that c is not squared? If you decide that you need it to be beautifully squared because you just like that much symmetry, you're going to be wrong. Okay. If I want r itself, I'm obviously going to square root both sides. That is r. Do you agree? You need to learn that off by heart. It's just not that hard, but you need to learn it. So when they give you this one over here, you are going to be able to work out what r is. So actually, we'll do it in a minute. So that one, at the moment, we know that c is equal to minus 40. So I'm going to write down that c is minus 40. You agree that c is minus 40, yes? Okay, let's work out g and f, because we need those as well. We need them for the radius, and we need them for the center of the circle. If you look at this thing over here, that's minus 2g in front of the x. So the minus 10 is minus 2g. So you don't have to confuse yourself thinking this out. You can just say minus 2g equals to minus 10, because they're both in front of x, right? And solve. You want to know what g is? Divide this side by minus 2, divide this side by minus 2, and g is going to equal to 5. So now you have the x coordinate of the center, right? Same thing for the y coordinate. You're going to look and see what's in front of y. It says minus 2f, and that's minus 8. So minus 2f is equal to minus 8. Going to divide that one by minus 2 and that one by minus 2. And f is going to equal to 4. I'm just thinking, I'm sorry, I'd like this to be positive. So can you, we're just going to change that to positive there, which means g is now minus 5, right? So I'm just changing the actual equation. I wrote down the wrong one. Is that okay? So what you can see straight away from this is you've got the center. The center is at minus 5. It's at 4. From an original circle, it's been moved 5 to the left, and it's been moved 4 up, right? Backwards of whatever. So I can now go back and fill that in the other formula if I wanted to. Furthermore, I can now work out what r is equal to, and there's no space here. I'm just going to go over here. So we worked out that r is equal to the square root of g squared, I'll put that back, plus f squared minus c, right? You have just worked out what g is. G turned out to be minus 5, which we're squaring. F is 4, which we're squaring. Notice you're squaring the whole thing. It's all in the bracket. It's not going to work. And c was minus 40. So this is minus 40, right? So we're just going back here. There's c. It's minus 40. We've got f, and we've got g. And just putting them inside the equation. So then this is going to be 25 plus 16. Notice everything is positive, plus 40, so that's 81. Square root of 81 is 9, right? So the radius is 9. So now I know radius is 9. I know that g is minus 5. And I know that f is 4. And I know that the center of the circle is minus 5 and 4. And now you can write it up in the other format, right? The other format is that r squared is equal to x minus g plus y minus f, and you just fill it in. So r squared is 81. This is going to be x minus 5, so that's plus 5. And this is going to be y minus 4, so there it is. And now you've got the other formula.